Last time I showed you a couple guitars a friend gave me that he found in a storage unit. This time I'm going to get into cleaning one of them and just show you how gross that they really got laying around in this building. There were animals in there. Who knows what kind of stuff went on in this building. They are super grody, and I didn't want to really breathe this stuff in. I didn't want to touch it. All I wanted to do was get it off of there as fast as I could. So let's get into this and see what we can do about this paint and nail polish that's on this green guitar, and maybe see what's underneath. So I took the strings off this guitar, and they were so gross, and the whole guitar was just disgusting. You can see it there, the nut and everything is just so gross. There's so much stuff caked on there. This guitar was sitting in some, I don't know, empty warehouse. Animals had been living in there and stuff. So I wanted to touch this as little as possible. I end up using needle nose pliers here to get the extra bits of string off, just because I didn't want to touch any of that stuff. I didn't want to get poked in my finger. This thing stunk. Obviously that doesn't come through on the video. The whole thing was just so gross. Here I am pulling the strings out the back. It was hard to get one of them out. I've had that problem almost every time I've ever changed strings in a through body guitar. I really hate that. I kind of like top loaders, and I don't like tremolos at all, so this one's going to end up getting blocked, I imagine. Look how gross that is. It's all grime and just, ugh, that's so disgusting right there. That just makes me want to vomit. I wanted to make sure I didn't get any of that, like, I didn't want to breathe it in. I wanted to make sure I wasn't having it all over my fingers and stuff. As you can see, some of that marker kind of wiped off because there was just so much grime underneath the marker. There was a lot of gunk built up. It's hard to see it in the shots here, but there was like little residue from stickers and tape and who knows what just on the back there. I ended up going and getting that clear Clorox cleaner with the bleach. That's for like a bathroom or something, but I just wanted to get something to kind of disinfect this thing because, like I said, it was kind of grossing me out. I didn't really want to have that stuff all under my fingernails and, you know, all that stuff. Who knows? I'm kind of a baby when it comes to stuff like that. If I can avoid it, I will. It really took some elbow grease, even with the bleach stuff. That stuff was caked on there pretty good. The guitar ended up being really pretty. As you can see, there's a nice translucent finish. Like I said in my last video, that's a color called Mediterranean green. It's kind of like a blue green. It looks mostly just green in this video, but it's got kind of a blue tint to it. It's just really pretty. I think the guitar would look fantastic with gold hardware. I've been looking online for some sort of bridge that I can put on this thing, like a hardtail bridge, and I'm not sure what I'm going to settle on yet. I don't really want to spend a ton of money, but since there's no money in this guitar so far, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to drop, you know, 40 or 50 bucks on a bridge and maybe get some tuners and stuff like that. Like I said, I think gold on green really does look good. Here you see I've started with the first of 3 levels of fingernail polish remover. This is a non-acetone fingernail polish remover. I guess it's got some sort of oils in it and stuff like that. I figured I would try that because if I could get stuff off with it, I wouldn't have to worry about the acetone eating the finish on this guitar. Luckily, I was able to get pretty much everything off of it with just that non-acetone nail polish remover, which was a huge plus because I wasn't afraid of damaging the finish until I started cleaning it up and seeing how pretty it was underneath all the gunk. And then once I saw that, I really didn't want to ruin it. There's kind of a decent shot. There's still a lot of gunk on there. You can see a buildup of it, but getting better. Because of all the crap that was all over the guitar, it kind of almost protected it, as weird as that sounds. There you see some just black permanent marker on the back of the neck there by the neck heel. And it's hard to tell in this video, but there's actually the same signature markered onto the green finish there right next to that in that same corner. So getting that off of there wasn't too bad, but I had to switch to the regular nail polish remover. The non-acetone just wasn't getting all of that Sharpie off. So I wanted to try the next step up. And I figured if I was going to try a more damaging solution on the guitar, I might as well try on the back. In case I did screw up the finish a little bit, it wouldn't be as noticeable. The regular nail polish remover with the acetone in it was too diluted to work, so I switched to the 100% acetone. That's the one I was really concerned with using on the finish, but I'm trying to avoid the finish there with a Q-tip, and it seemed to do the trick. It took the marker right off, cleaned some gunk off of the neck plate, and seemed to really kind of shine up. They wrote this crap all over the back. I think it's hilarious. It says, "Take care of me always." And basically they just destroyed this guitar as much as they could. They basically took their best stab at ruining the finish on this guitar. In addition to all the crap they wrote all over it, and the paint and the marker and all that stuff, they ripped 2 of the 3 pickups out. I think they ripped out 3 pickups and then put 1 humbucker back in it. I don't really know what humbucker was supposed to go in this guitar, but it seems like the one that's in it is not the original one. And all the pictures that I've looked at of this model of guitar, it looks like they would have had white pickups, and this one has a black pickup with a W on it. I don't know what it means. But so anyways, they got rid of the original pickups. Instead of having a volume and a tone control, it just has 1 knob and it controls the volume, and there's no selector switch or anything. So they basically gutted the electronics and put in this, I assume, aftermarket pickup. So they decided to change out all the electronics or kind of shred up the electronics. I haven't really gotten into that part of things yet. We won't get into that on this video, but in a later video we'll talk a little bit about that, I think, and maybe address whether or not it's going to stay the way it is, or if I'm going to replace all the pickups or just add some pickups to this guitar the way it is. Here you see I basically used the acetone on the back of the neck, and then I'm taking off all the hardware. I was just going to kind of clean around it and do kind of a half-assed job, but after messing with it for a little bit, I figure I might as well just go the full 9, so I'm taking out the string ferrules there. They mostly came out without any issue. A couple of them had to be pried a little bit, but for the most part they were just kind of press fitted in there. They weren't too tight. They all needed kind of cleaned off. They had paint all over them. I don't know if that's paint or nail polish, but whatever it is, the nail polish remover, the acetone right there, did a good job of taking it off. Really didn't have to scrub too hard. It seemed to eat it right off of there without really damaging anything on the guitar. I originally had hoped to save the original Headstock logo, not because of any particular affinity for it or anything, but just I wanted to try to put the guitar back to stock as best I could, and there's a lot of stuff that's caked over top of that logo, so I realized at some point here that I need to try to at least wipe off it looks like some kind of green, and there's like a blue. It's almost like a pearly kind of color. I don't know what it is they had in there, but you know, I'm trying to go around the logo as best I can, but it's hard to do. I don't really have any sort of precision skills, and my hand isn't very steady and stuff like that, so I kind of gave up on that pretty quick. Here I'm still kind of going around it a little bit, but there you see I'm getting to the I just rubbed off the finish a little bit, and I just took a stab at trying to get the stuff off over top of it without rubbing too hard, and just the acetone right down through it. So once I kind of realized that I wasn't going to be able to save it, here I am. I'm still trying to save it a little bit. I'm still taking a stab at trying to get it off of there. That's where I gave up. I just went ham on it at that point and just started scrubbing it all off. Once I scrubbed it all off, I was really pretty happy with the way it looked. It would have been nice to save the logo, but it is what it is. I don't think there's anybody who would look at this guitar and not know immediately that it's an Ibanez. It's got the Ibanez headstock, which is pretty unmistakable, and then the body shape is unmistakable. The pick guard is unmistakable. I mean, everything about it screams Ibanez. So here I am going back to the non-acetone nail polish remover to take this pretty off the upper horn of the guitar. This is another one of those situations where I was concerned about how I was going to get that stuff off without damaging the actual finish on the guitar, and that non-acetone stuff just seemed to take that right off of there. So I do think that was nail polish, and it didn't appear to affect the finish on the guitar whatsoever, so I was really kind of happy about that. That about does it for the paint and nail polish that's on the headstock and the body. Next time we're going to tackle the pick guard. We're going to look at the electronics a little bit. We're going to check out some of the frets and see how they look. and we'll further clean it. This thing is grimy, so it takes a lot of elbow grease to get this stuff cleaned off of there, and we'll see what we end up with next time. Thanks for watching.